Hello, today is Monday, January 24th. I let go of childhood fears. I am a secure, empowered human being. Which is such a great message for what today's spread is going to be. It is the Release Obsessive Thoughts spread. I'm going to jump right in because it is a 10-card spread, and as I was getting ready for, and I read over the spread, I thought this can potentially be, I don't know what the messages are going to be, so it might end up being a really long reading, but we will see. Interestingly, I have my little Buddha tea holder here, and today there's a little sidebar message. It says, Buddha described the mind as a drunken monkey's jumping, screeching, and chattering endlessly. So fear, he claimed, was an especially loud monkey that could be tamed by meditation. So today we're talking about how do we release obsessive thoughts. Have you ever had thoughts that just stick in your head, like they're just like a ship lodged in ice? So this is especially frustrating when grappling with tough or painful situations. So the trick is to free your mind before tormenting thoughts drive you mad. This spread was created to help you break free when an obsessive thought lodges in your mind. So we're really going to cast these cards and thinking about how do we free your mind, and the rest will follow. So we're going to ask 10 questions to see what our message is on how we can release obsessive thoughts. Let's go here. So our first question is going to be, is this a legitimate concern? So if you're just listening and you didn't pause to meditate on something that you know is really bothering you, we'll just see if this resonates with something that's been going on. So is this a legitimate concern? And our first card here is the Six of Cups. So I find this interesting because the message today was, I let go of childhood fears. I am a secure, empowered human being. And in regards to this, is this a legitimate concern? I'm going to say yes. The Six of Cups is all about nostalgia, childhood, in many ways romanticizing the past in particular areas. So it's going to be individual for each, as this is a general read. But in regards to how we're going to free your mind and the rest will follow, how to release this obsessive thought in particular does stem from the past, possibly when you were a lot younger. It could be tied to a relationship to a parent or a family member, sibling, a best friend growing up, a first relationship that ended for whatever reason. And so whatever it is, there's an obsessive thought behind. It is legitimate because it is coming from a place of the past that in some way, shape, or form you are holding on to, but it has not. It's become more romanticized than realistic to what it might have been at the time. Will this happen whether I worry about it or not? And we have the Two of Wands. So whatever this obsessive thought is, and nothing really clear is coming to mind except that it is tied to your past and really to your childhood and the relationship with someone of more of an authority position. And for some, I'm getting the message that it could be a first relationship where that person, it does not appear that it was the first relationship for that person involved. So that's a legitimate concern, but will this happen? So in regards to whatever it is that's holding you back, maybe it's, it could be something like if there was a bad relationship with the parent, are you going to repeat that cycle with your own kids? Maybe you have a newborn, or your children, or your child is entering an age that you get anxiety over because you remember what was going on in your life at that age, and you don't want to repeat the same situation. Or if it's in a relationship, maybe it's really held you back from even wanting another relationship. And so is this sort of this obsessive thought, will it happen whether you worry about it or not? And the Two of Wands really says it's up to you, because the Two of Wands is all about, on one hand, they're holding the world, they're holding onto one wand, but there's another one behind them. So you can have everything in your power to release this thought, or you can continue to obsess over it for whatever reason. There's 8 more questions to go, so I'm sure we'll come back to this. But for now, will this, whatever this is for you, happen whether you worry about it or not? It's really pointing, Spirit's really coming through with the message of it's up to you. And I'm thinking, like, because there's this, little Buddha here in front of us with the tea light, and then that message about how Buddha claimed that fear was an especially loud monkey, right, in our thoughts, but it could be tamed through meditation. And I'm reminded of this in this card. Whether you worry or not it's going to happen, really seems like it's up to you here. It's what you decide to do. Now, the next question is, are there steps I can take to prepare for the perceived outcome? And we have this 8 of Pentacles. No, I'm sorry, 7 of Pentacles. Sorry, my bad there. So are there steps you can take to prepare for the perceived outcome? Yes. I'm getting a couple, maybe, I'm sorry, like 3 messages here. Let me get them out. So things you can do to prepare. I'm definitely getting a strong message about meditation again. And the Pentacles are real earth grounding energy. So I would definitely say doing some meditation around your root chakra to really ground and center yourself. It's going to be one way to really prepare for whatever outcome you're perceiving. And again, going back to this Two of Wands, you really hold the power, like holding that world in your hand about which way you want to go with. And because this is a childhood or something in the past, I think the reason it's up to you, it's because it may be something that does require a conversation with that other person, or it requires just that quietness to sit, write it out, talk it out with somebody to really be able to release it, because it's been with you for so long. And so, you can decide, right? How do you want this to go? And so how you can prepare is, grounding, really doing some work on your root chakra, bringing in meditations, the real tangible ways. I mean, down to, like I said, if this is about having a conversation with somebody, it's really preparing yourself, this isn't about emotions just running wild. This is very steady energy, very, pragmatic, steady energy. So the way you're going to prepare is by getting all of that emotion, really grounding to it so that you can really understand it. And because oftentimes when we have those really obsessive thoughts, we lose perspective, we lose logic in them, especially when they've been with us for a long time. So it's really hard to separate ourselves from that, to have that logical, view and approaching it. So this spread is an opportunity for you to really sit down, pause the video, really think about it, see what comes up. We'll get through the 10 questions, and maybe there's more that'll be able to guide you for you to discern, like, what thought are we talking about here? What is it that's coming up that this is resonating with? And then what are you going to choose to do, right? Are you going to worry over how do you prepare for that? And then do that work, that meditating, that grounding the root chakra, to really get a clear sense of how to approach this particular thought. Am I dwelling too much on the past? Well, we do have that 6 of Cups. Now we have the 4 of Pentacles. Let me see if I move these up to get 5 on here. So yes, are you dwelling too much on the past? Yes, you're not wanting to let go of this. You're literally holding on to it. So it could be, I mean, it's funny, we get, again, different messages, but somewhere, if this was a relationship, I feel like you're holding on to something physical that was this person. Maybe it was something that was really important to them, or something that they gave you that was really significant in that moment. But then when the relationship ended, you know, you still have this reminder of it, and it's really bothering you. You know, it could have been a relationship and it ended abruptly. It didn't have like some solid closure. I mean, it's hard with relationships because the fact that they're ending is evident that something wasn't working for one or both parties. And so if you're holding on to something, it might, you know, maybe you feel regret that you ended it, or someone ended it and that, like I said, didn't give you all the closure that maybe you feel you deserve or want. And so you're holding on to something. Maybe it was symbolic of, no, they really did care about me. I know it. Why would they give me this if they didn't? And you're holding on to that as just a way to continually play over and over what happened, what might have, you know, gone wrong, what didn't go wrong, but you have this symbol, something you're holding on to. For others, like I said, this is, you know, there's a child and an elder, there's a dynamic here. It could be, you know, oftentimes we do code switch. You know, we act one way in front of our family and maybe another way in front of our friends. And so this could have been a situation where something happened that you want, you know, maybe you try to combine both worlds and it didn't go well, or, you know, go over well, but you've never talked about it, but it's really hurt you, and there's been a splinter in this, some sort of, like, it affected the relationship in some way. But now years later, there's a stubbornness to not wanting to maybe go back and say, hey, mom or dad or whoever, you know, I'm sorry, it was me. I know that was whatever it was. Or you want to say that, but it's not authentic. You know, it's very like, whatever, it's in the past. But somebody here is not wanting to let go of that. And so there is major dwelling on that. Am I doing this to avoid present problems? Queen of Cups. So are you holding on to something to avoid a present problem? So this is interesting because the Queen of Cups, yeah, so I'm really getting this really loud message that says, yes, like you're avoiding a present problem by appearing to be very empathetic and compassionate, and like you're willing to hear something out, or like you're really positioned yourself in this really great light that your presentation right now in regard to this situation is the opposite of that holding on and dwelling. It's I am so good in my emotions. I have grown. I am a queen, and I'm sitting in, like, I get my feels and they might be here in this past, but I'm good with that because I'm compassionate. I'm self-aware. I'm empathetic. I am so good in my heart space that nothing can shake me. And I'm here to listen to you, and I'm here to, like, I guide others. I listen, really well, and I'm mindful and I'm thoughtful. And so, but the message in this, with this question is, am I doing this to avoid present problems? Is that this way of being almost so nice and forgiving about everything really has shielded you from having to acknowledge this out loud. So this obsessive thought, now it's really clearing up to be something that keeps you up at night, that you dwell in this space of, toiling with it. Is there something, maybe you do meditate and you do ground and you have done that healing work, but it's still there. It's still something you're holding on to. It still comes up and you're still in this, but I've done the work. I've let it go. I'm not there anymore. I'm this queen, but there's something that is there's a little bit of a perception here that hasn't been fully integrated, because you're still holding on to this. So you're avoiding, right, any problem. This person or persons, the situation is still present in your life in some way, shape, or form. And so, but there's no problem. You're cool, you're chill, it does not bother you. You can hang out with them or be in their presence and, you know, do all the things. And it's not, but it is avoiding anything in the present, but because you've made such a good job of how you hide that for yourself in the past. And so no one knows that, you know. Are there more important issues I should, oh no, wait, sorry. We're 5, 6. So 6 is this issue worth the amount of time I'm spending worrying on it? Wow, absolutely not. Okay, so just a resounding no there. Is this issue worth the amount of time I'm spending worrying about it? Nope. Because this is spilled milk here. You have standing cups. You have more in your life now. This is in the past, and you're definitely dwelling on it. And I'm not saying that the message is not coming in to sound harsh or not accepting of your feelings. It's more an opportunity that Spirit is bringing forward to work on that root chakra, to work on your grounding, to work on gratitudes, to see that you've moved past this. You are that queen, but you want to be that queen authentically, all like 100% of your time. You don't want to then at night by yourself or whenever you're, with yourself, to feel like you've got this like nagging thought because you're holding on to something that stems from the past, from over romanticizing a situation, from really wanting to get to the core of like the whys. You know, we can really get in our heads over why did this happen? Why, I think maybe we can all remember ourselves or remember someone in our life, if we have kids or if we remember that kid when we're growing up, they would just say why all the time. So, you would say, when it rains and the sun hits this, there's a rainbow, but why? Oh, and then they would explain it, and then, but why? And the more explanation you got, the more, but why? And so you can do the why too. You just can keep going, right? There's like no end to your whys. And so that's happened in this situation that is this obsessive thought of yours. But what Spirit is bringing forward is that you can change that, because you are this 2 of Wands, and you hold, you're holding on to this beautiful energy that is giving you life, and you have the world in your other hand, and you have another one. Like, you don't have to worry about this. You have so many other things going on. You're tilling your land here, you're taking care of it, and you're blossoming material abundance, and so the steps that you can take, is to not leave anything behind, is work on grounding your root chakra, because you have these 4 coins, and for some reason you want to hold on, like you're standing on coins, you have a coin on your head, and yet there's one in your hands that you just don't want to let go of. Like, you have 3 other ones. You have more hanging around than what you're holding on to. And the perception is, there is a lot of truth in you being this Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is total, like, it's not that she controls her emotions. It's that she is comfortable in her emotions. What her past doesn't dictate her future. Her present isn't beholden to the past. She is living from her heart space. So if something is sad, she can be sad. If it's happy, she can be happy. She can feel that for others as well. And there's just an endless amount of compassion and empathy, but it's 100% coming from that center, that heart space, not, from her thoughts, and not by over romanticizing past situations, and definitely, not focusing on what has been lost, but being aware that there are gains too. And so not just focusing on past things. And so that is definitely, like, is this something worth, spending the amount of time that you're worrying about it? It is not, are there more important issues I should focus on? Look at that. You're King of Cups. So, you know, it's interesting because if the Queen is this, you know, the ultimate in compassion and empathy, the King of Cups is that emotional mastery. You know, there's a little bit of, I would say, a little bit of weariness in how, of that emotional mastery, because oftentimes when we can get too comfortable in any position, we don't want to get arrogant to our emotions. So the King of Cups can definitely relate back to, you know, not wanting to control your emotions, right? We don't want to get that twisted. But this is more, are there more important issues I should be focused on? Yes. Like, you should be focused more on your emotional mastery. You know, how can you be this queen, but from that king throne, how do you fully understand your queen, your queen attributes and those elements, right? How do you master your awareness to your emotions? There's also, and I will say this because there's the King and Queen of Cups on the spread, this could really speak to a relationship. It could have been a very significant relationship. There could be kids involved in this relationship. It could have been a really, or maybe we didn't get to kids. It could be the relationship that you thought would lead to kids. Like, there was just something that either you have children with this person, or you would have, or you might have, this really is the energy of one message here is definitely this was a relationship that was committed. You were not thinking that it wasn't going to be your forever. You thought it would be. And for whatever reason, whichever party you are in this, if this is resonating, it was not that. And so that relationship is no longer. But there are parts of it that are still these obsessive thoughts or thought, right, in your mind as to why, like, what was the purpose? And like I said, we can get into that why and stay there. Like this Five of Cups says, we can stay there way more than we need to, because we get really caught up in why. Like, if this wasn't the forever relationship, then why did it take up all this time? Like, oh my gosh, what else could I have done in this time? Maybe I missed, meeting the person that is my forever person, or why did this happen? And, and if it was you that ended it for whatever reason, like living in this, oh no, was the grass greener? I don't know. Is this worth it? The Five of Cups, there's 3 cups that have fallen over, but there's 2 standing right behind them. This 4 of coins and Pentacles, while they're holding on to the 1, they're standing on 2, and there's 1 on their head. Even the 7 of Pentacles, there's 5, pentacles on this bush, like it's abundant, and there's like 1 that's been left behind. We don't know. Was it left behind? Did he drop it? Did he pluck it too soon? But the point is that he has more than enough that he's already staring at. So, and we're reminded that you do have this 2 of Wands. Another message I'm getting here is how we have the 6 of Cups, and then the 5 of Cups was right underneath it. There's like there's a consecutive notion to this 6 of Cups being the obsessive, potentially this legitimate concern. Having the 5 underneath it can again go it really is that message to the loss of something greater that you were not prepared to lose when it happened. It could have been the loss of a parent, a grandparent, a significant person in your life when you were young, at a time where you really needed that person, or at least that was how that person, that person had meaning to you in a way that you expected them to be with you for much longer than they were. And so when they were taken away, while you had a lot of other people, that person really impacted you losing them. However, it's pointing to that you have a lot to be grateful for and a lot of love that was still available to you and was given to you. So now in the present, I'm like, I know the words are, you need to find the strength and the foresight to ground yourself to the gratitudes, to the love, to everything that you do have, and release this obsessive thought that has just lingered on for way too long. And so you have this king and queen energy, cup energy, which is heart centered, which is, really at your core of, in the middle, right in the center of who you are, that your heart is, where all the emotions, and these two cards symbolize, the I must say the pentacles to the cup, but the pentacle of emotional mastery and ultimate empathy and compassion. But that only works if it's authentic and if you fully believe it. And because there's still this residual of holding on to something and dwelling on it, and that if this is resonating, you know exactly what the thought is, and it could be multiple things, but I would definitely suggest starting with the root chakra and grounding, and then moving up to, through your other your other 6 chakras from that point, because that's really what's being indicated here. That there are other, at this present moment, there are other more important issues that you should be focused on, and emotional mastery at the core of them. If you were really living in this Queen of Cups way, you would know that. And this, at least this obsessive thought, would not be the one, still bothering you. So then, can I turn these problems into a hidden opportunity? Yes. The star. And the star indicates here, especially here, that hidden, that it's, what's your wish, what's your desire, can you turn this into a hidden opportunity? You already know that, you already know what it is. And I keep hearing, if it has to do with a relationship that should have been there forever and it isn't, the hidden opportunity is that it's that, the universe doesn't want us to not be happy. We have free will, and oftentimes it gets scary when we decide, when you fall in love or when something seems great, and then we can get comfortable too. And that's in anything. I think even just growing up, if you were fortunate enough, to grow up and have everything you wanted, it's scary to think about moving out and doing it on your own. If you grew up, with scarcity and not having everything you wanted, and desiring more, and then you're getting older and maybe that's not coming to fruition as fast as you wanted, oftentimes it has happened, but you're not maybe noticing it because you have one big goal in mind, that sometimes along the way, it's like the 7 of Pentacles, you don't notice everything that has already blossomed because you're still focused on the bigger sort of dream. But for this particular reading, as you're releasing an obsessive thought, it's this opportunity to really step back and think, let's unpack your obsessive thought to what is that at the root. And that's why I keep, really keep hearing that, really focusing on your root chakra to really hone in on what is that thought. Is it that relationship didn't work? Is it that you lost somebody? Was it that, or was there a byproduct of that ending that affected you in a different way, and that's what you're upset about more than, and then there's guilt to that as well, right? If it isn't, if it was a relationship that wasn't great, but maybe it was very financially stable, or at least it gave you a stability to not have to worry about dating anymore. Or, like I said, if you had a home and parents that work, whatever it was, whatever stability, the thing that you lost shook. And so today we're reminded here that what is that hidden opportunity? What was it? Is it like, shoot, I just don't want to start dating again. It seems so different from that time, and now even today, even more so, right? Because people aren't just frequenting social places and doing all of that. So there could be like a scary element to you're older, you don't want to do this thing, or like I said, the loss, like if the loss of somebody, of whoever this was, unstabilized your reality, your day to day, there could be this, like this Five of Cups, there's this big 3-cup loss. But was that so unstable that you couldn't be grateful for the two standing? And then there's some guilt to that today, where you're like, shoot, I should have, that was sad, and I should have grieved it and mourned it, and then been appreciative for what I do have, and I haven't done that. And so I think with some really grounding and really clearing and really honing in where this obsessive thought stems from, the hidden opportunity is going to be that star. The star is all about wishes and dreams that you have, hidden, but they're bright. They're what you want. It's what you're wishing for. It's like if you had a wish, this is it. And so this message is really coming through, that it's about honing in at, what is the root of this obsessive thought? What is the thing that I'm getting this, like, I have like I may even get the hiccups, because I feel that anxious sort of energy, that just admitting to yourself what this hidden desire is makes you feel a little uncomfortable or guilty in some way. And I'm hearing like you shouldn't at all. And that's because, the star is nothing to shy away from. It's, she's naked at the water, like she's vulnerable, she's open, she's, and she's totally in her feels about what she wishes for. So this is a hidden opportunity to hone in to the root of this obsessive thought, and then own that. Like, don't shy away from it, own that, and know that anything you can think about and dream about, you can have, and that you shouldn't hold back for however this wish came to grow in your mind. There's an obsessive part that is tied to a not pleasant moment in your life, a time, and it has now really hidden this desire because there's some guilt or shame or regret around it, or just this non-deserving. And like I said, the Queen of Cups energy really is, I feel that is you. It's just you. There's just like one like little wrinkle in the, little wrinkle just needs to be ironed out for you to fully embrace that throne. Is there anyone I can ask for help? And you got the 8 of Pentacles. Yes, the 8 of Pentacles is like an apprentice card. Is, they're working hard towards something. They're not going to stop until they're done. They're very focused on their job. They're focused on getting it done. So I would say, like, is there anyone I can ask for help? Yes, you can. Maybe if you're new to meditation, maybe you go to like a yoga class, or you go on YouTube or online somewhere and find something you can follow along, like a guided meditation, for your root chakra. Or, look up locally. Like, I know they're doing a lot of stuff on Zoom where you can join and be a part of, of a meditation on Zoom that way. Or, maybe get a personal reading from somebody that you trust, or that's been, referred to you, or even a therapist, or some, where I'm getting all these messages, like I'm getting religious clergy, I'm getting professional, psychologists or therapists, spiritual guides. Like, there are a lot of options of people in areas that specialize in, that you can just do a one-on-one to really get to this, like I said, the hone in on the root of this obsessive thought, to then be able to have a plan to really work through how, like I said, I'm really, meditation has been really life-changing for me. And so, but it wasn't something I did in a vacuum by myself. I definitely have, like, I had a therapist that did yoga therapy. So it's like one-on-one session, and we talk, and then we would go into different positions, like yoga positions that would help release like that energy, that stress energy from that session. It was fabulous. I do like daily calibrations. They're on Zoom with, we're camera off, but it's guided. And so she guides us through, really explaining the sort of astrological planetary activity of the day and how that affects our energies. And then she does like a calibration. So I think there's a lot. This Eight of Pentacles is really just saying, like, is there anyone that you can ask for help? And it's yes. And it shows that you're willing, you know, you want to do the work. You're here, you know that you need to learn how to. This is an area that is not an area of expertise for you, but you're learning. You're definitely on the right path. You've begun the process, and this card is just reinforcing that you're on the right path. You're seeking out tools, you're seeking out other people to strengthen your toolbox and your skill set. And you know, right under that Four of Pentacles, it definitely speaks to, like, you know, you really working to get to the root of this so that you can let go of what it is that's holding you back, you know. And so yeah, that's right on. Now the last question here is, what will make it stop? All right, let's see what we got here. What will make it stop? We have the Temperance card. Up balance. There's a message here overall, like I've said, and this is how we'll wrap it up here. And that is, there is something that is just such a part of you, right? It's become, it's beyond nostalgia, right? There's deep, like a sadness, a regret, a lot of why questions as to why this happened. But as you've moved through your life to this present moment, there's all this really great energy. You know, you know, you've done the work on yourself. You continue to do the work on yourself. You know, you have, you know, really at the center of this reading is the Star card and the Seven of Pentacles. It's, you know, really, you know, rooted energy on this wish, you know, wish fulfillment, what, you know, wishes and desires. You have this really great King and Queen of Cups. You know, like I said, just full mastery of our emotions, empathy, compassion. You know, you guide others. I would not doubt if you are a spiritual worker of, you know, some sort. That's definitely coming through with this Eight of Pentacles. You know, you're an apprentice. You're learning how to, you know, overcome these obsessive thoughts, to release this energy. And will you know, how will, you know, it all, like, or will it all stop at some point? Yes. And yes, and also no, right? Like this Two of Wands, yes, it will. There's this, you know, she's this, you know, I mean, he or she, it's an angel. You're divinely guided, you're protected. And what you're being reminded is that life is always this, you know, opportunity of, we're always seeking out balance. And yet I think it's a very elusive thing that we try to chase. And sometimes I think that can be an obsessive thought, that we're just working the grind of whatever because we're hoping to gain balance. And yet I think we're there all the time. We just, when you're too busy searching for something, sometimes you don't take the time to look and see that you already have it, and then some, you know? So, you know, what will make it stop is just the quieting of surrendering to your highest self and being comfortable in that balance of maybe, you know what, maybe never getting the answer that you're looking for. And when something is really taking over our thoughts so much that it is obsessive, one thing we should be I'm getting this message, we should be aware of is that we should write down what is that you're looking for. What kind of, if it was a childhood, if it was a loss of a life, of a person, what's going to make that grieving process better for you or make it stop? Because that person is not coming back. If it was the loss of some sort of financial stability due to the loss of somebody, you know, where are you today? Like, you know, are you, you know, where do you find yourself today? You know, if it was a relationship that you really believe with all your heart was going to be your forever, happily ever after, and it didn't work out that way, you know, where are you today? You know, and so, and what would having a clear answer of this is why this happened and here's what you should do now. And like if someone just dropped you a blueprint and said, okay, here's why this person is gone, and then here's what you need to do, and if you do all that, you're perfect. Ask yourself if you truly believe that. Do you truly believe, given your experiences, given where you are today, do you believe that if you had that, you would just magically read it and say, oh, cool, obsessive thought gone? No, right? That the message we're getting is that things take time to get to this King and Queen of Cups, to get to this Temperance. It's about the full on faith and belief that we can, that we are guided to live our best life and not dwell on past things, but to learn and grow from them, like this apprentice card, to continually grow and build our life. And to, ultimately accept that we all go through, we're going to experience like myriad emotions, and they're going to be highs and lows, and all of that is good, but we don't need to wax poetic and overly romanticize things that happen. We shouldn't just like sit in that space and not be aware to give gratitude to what we do have. We don't want to hold on to, this one coin when we have so many other opportunities for more coins. Like, we don't want to be petty. And I say it, I don't know how I sound saying it, but I can totally admit that I suffer from obsessive thoughts, and it is a work in progress to work on releasing them. But I have released many, and I am a work in progress in others. But that feeling when you realize that, you can keep asking why, and it'll never end. So you have to decide when you just cut that out. There's something very powerful and a lot of strength in knowing that you have the free will to make those decisions for you, and that on any given day, in any moment of any given day, you are one decision away from living a whole different life. And that can be good or not great, as Temperance reminds us. So I'm going to end it there. And I will post, the questions. So if you want to do your own and really ask it about a particular, obsessive thought that you're having, I would really encourage you to do so, because this was a general read. I do feel that the messages could be applied to multiple situations, and so that's what happens in these general reads. But I think this is a really good blueprint of questions to really help you gain some perspective and some advice from Spirit as to how to handle that. So, way to start this Monday, January 24th, and I will see you tomorrow.